Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of Mona's Rants. I'm your host, Mona Sheikh. Very nice to be back after my very upsetting and angry rant yesterday. After my rant yesterday, I was like, oh man, I really got into it. But it's just like sometimes you're just like holding stuff in for so long, and I've been like holding things in for so long. It's like you just put up with the stupidity for so long, and then yesterday it just got me. And right before this live stream, I was listening to the interview yet again. I was listening to the Jonathan Swan interview on Axios with Donald Trump, and it's just that I think it gets the interview got stupider the second time around than the first time. The first time it was stupid. The second time it just got stupider. Where you're like, oh my God, like the amount of gaslighting, the amount of lies, the amount of denying of facts is really alarming with Donald Trump and what he has been able to get away with. I mean, Jonathan Swan was asking Donald Trump about getting a briefing about Russia basically arming Taliban to hurt American soldiers. And he was like, yeah, I never got that. So let me understand this. You're the president of the United States, where you were very happy to get a Purple Heart. You claim that you love the military. Nobody loves the army and the military more than I do. Nobody. And yet you somehow miraculously, magically, never got any kind of briefing, never got the information about Taliban getting armed by Russia to harm U.S. military. Got it. So you have selective memory. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot, because you get on your knees for Putin all day long because you goddamn know well that Russia has been bailing you out of all your failed businesses, and Russia has you, specifically, Putin has you by your gonads, and which is why you will never speak ill of the Russians. So let's get one thing clear. You may have selective memory, Trump, but we don't have selective memory, okay? We have been fighting this war, this useless bullshit ass war against war on terror and all this crap where, okay, I'm glad we took out Osama bin Laden, but what the fuck, man? I mean, so much money, trillions of dollars have been spent, thousands of soldiers have passed away, not to mention great amounts of money is spent on a daily basis, for our military to occupy and be in Afghanistan. And yet you could not get that intel. Fascinating. It is just fucking fascinating. Every time, I like I said, I was just listening to the interview again, and I was just like, oh wow, the first time I was like cringing and getting angrier. And the second time I just bust out and laughing because I'm just like, what do you do? Like, I don't know about you guys, but I feel helpless. Like the only thing I can do is get on here and rant and say what I'm feeling, and hoping that some of you guys out there, or most of you guys out there, are feeling the same way as I do, which is this level of frustration, not just with the pandemic, but with the level of ignorance and stupidity and gaslighting that our president does on a daily basis. And then I was listening to Dr. Fauci, who is wonderful, by the way, and poor Dr. Fauci, man. This man has been there for 8 different presidencies. This man is single-handedly getting death threats, not just against him. His wife is getting harassed. His children is getting harassed. For what? For what? Of the 8 presidencies that he has served under, this is the only presidency that he's getting like death threats. Not just him, his family too. And he was such a gentleman about it, and he's such an intelligent, well put together guy. I love his New York accent. When his New York accent comes out, I just love him. And he was just like, I can't focus on that. I gotta be laser sharp. And I just got to focus. And I was like, yes, Dr. Fauci, yes, you do. You do need to focus because you don't have time for bullshit, man. We have a fucking pandemic on our hands. How do we get this shit under control? So I appreciate Dr. Fauci. But the fact that a brilliant man like Dr. Fauci is coming and having his life threatened along with his family's life is being threatened. And then you had Dr. Miss Cleo 2.0, Dr. Stella Emanuel with her, I think she's Nigerian. I love the accent, but Jesus fucking Christ, the shit that comes out of her mouth is just like, yo, is this bitch go to med school? Like, what the fuck is she talking about? Demon sperm and fucking alien DNA? Bitch, what the fuck are you talking about? Are you a doctor? Or are you a witch doctor? I can't fucking tell, okay? I thought you had a medical degree. She's a goddamn pediatrician, man. And I would never send my child to an asshole like that, calling herself the frontline doctors. You're not the frontline doctors, okay? Let me tell you who the frontline doctor is. His name is Dr. Fauci and, Dr. Collins. They are the ones who are sitting on the front line. They are the ones, okay, who have been working with this buffoon, this orange demon that we have in the White House, okay, trying to work with him, trying to reason with him, and to try to get the message out, and which is a brilliant point that Jonathan Swan brought up in his interview with Trump, which was, he's like, look, news that I report, news that any other media reports, or even what Dr. Fauci comes out and says is looked at by your supporters as fake news. They only look to you. You have such a power over them that they listen to you. So you have to get the message out, and you have to be consistent about your message. Wear your mask, social distancing, no getting together in groups, no going to bars. Like, it is your voice that holds the most power. We need you. I need you to say that. And he was like, yeah, well, but it's like, you can't trust this man, because today he's singing this song and tomorrow, God knows what, he didn't get his cheeseburger on time, or, he's pissed off about something because he didn't get his praises, or somebody didn't come and pat him on the shoulder to be like, good job, Trumpy. Good job. You're such a good president. Did I tell you you're such a good president? No, did nobody? Until he fucking gets that validation, he's like, oh, you know what? Fuck everything. Don't wear a mask. Don't social distance. You know what? No, you're the president of the United States, and your asshole supporters listen to you and nobody else. So please, for the sake of humanity, please stay consistent with your message, because we fucking need that. Okay. Hello, James. Hi, Tim. Hello, everyone tuning in. Very nice to see you guys. Thank you so much for joining. Today has been a very interesting day in news. New York Attorney General Letitia James, because you don't want to mess with Letitia James, let me tell you something. She filed a lawsuit against the NRA, because it's about goddamn time, for self-dealing and illegal conduct for violating New York charity laws, okay? For years, and the NRA has directed, and this is what she's accusing them of, millions of dollars away from its charitable mission for personal use by senior leadership, which of course includes their CEO and their EVP by a gun nut by the name of Wayne LaPierre. And of course, not to be outdone, the NRA struck back. The NRA was like, we shall have none of this. We will also strike back. And they struck back and filed a lawsuit against the office of Attorney General Letitia James, for claiming her action was politically motivated and violated their First Amendment rights. Yes, First Amendment rights. Yeah, that's what the NRA jumps on, right? Every single time. The DC Attorney General also filed a lawsuit against the NRA and its charitable foundation, alleging that the NRA misused millions of dollars of the foundation's funds. So it's not just New York that's going after them. It's also the DC Attorney General, and thank God for that. So who the hell is the NRA? And how in the fuck have they been around? And how long have they been around for? So I was looking up good old NRA. Okay, so the NRA has been around since 1871, which means they've been around for 148 years. They have 5.5 million members, and they started off in, of course, not shocked to hear this, Fairfax County, Virginia. Yeah, that's right. And now, a lot of people don't know the origination of NRA and why in the hell would NRA come into existence. And so NRA is, they claim themselves to be a gun rights advocacy group based in the United States, of course, founded to advance the rifle marksmanship. The modern NRA continues to teach firearm safety and competency. The organization also publishes several magazines and sponsors competitive marksmanship events. And according to the NRA, of course, they have 5 million members as of 2018. And NRA, of course, has very deep pockets, as you could imagine, and they have a lot of politicians in their pockets, in those very, very deep pockets of theirs, because they need to further their agenda. And the early history of NRA is that a few months after the Civil War began in 1861, the NRA was proposed by Americans in England. And in a letter that was sent to President Abraham Lincoln and published in New York Times, R.G. Moulton and R.B. Perry recommended forming an organization similar to the British National Rifle Association because, hey, their dick can be bigger than ours, so we got to show them, which had formed a year and a half earlier. They suggested making a shooting range, perhaps at the base of Staten Island, which totally makes sense. If you've ever been to Staten Island, that is exactly the place. It's either Staten Island or Jersey. It can't be New York. And we're offering Whitworth rifles for prizes for the first shooting competition with those rifles. Now, the interesting thing about the NRA is that, the NRA has been pretty vehemently and adamantly against background checks. They have not been a very big fan of, conducting background checks because their argument is that it's a violation of privacy, which is pretty interesting considering if a guy owns a gun and he goes on a shooting rampage, that is plenty of violation of privacy, if you ask me. But the NRA website says that the organization is America's, I shit you not, longest standing civil rights organization. Yeah, they have the audacity to call themselves that. That's hilarious because anyone logical and who knows their history, God knows goddamn well that the NRA is not. It is not the longest standing civil rights organization, okay? Let me take you back to 1967, okay? In 1967, the Black Panthers, 30 Black Panthers showed up and they protested in California State House, armed with, magnum, shotguns, pistols, and they announced that the time has come for Black people to arm themselves, rightfully so. They were getting attacked. I mean, of course, there's still the segregation happening. Rightfully so, Black people are like, all right, fuck it. If you say that as a U.S. citizen, it is my right to own a gun, so fuck it, I'm going to own a gun. Wow, the NRA was just not happy to have that. Well, and look at then what happened. They were like, oh shit, Black people are going to have guns? They're going to show up to the State House with guns? Is that going to happen around the country? Wait. I thought only white people were going to have guns, but no. Black people are going to have guns too, because wait a minute, they put it together that they are also U.S. citizens, therefore they are also entitled to having the guns. So now they're practicing their law and they're like, oh, fuck, how do we throw a monkey wrench in that? So then immediately, very immediately, the NRA that is adamantly against background checks, that claims that they are the largest or the longest standing civil rights organization, okay? They immediately, they got so fucking scared. The politicians got so scared that the California governor at the time, Ronald Reagan, he helped pass the Mulford Act, okay? It was a state bill prohibiting the open carry of loaded firearms along with an addendum prohibiting loaded firearms in the state capitol. Okay, the 1967 bill took California down the path to having some of the strictest gun laws in America and helped jumpstart a surge of national gun control restrictions. Now, the law was part of a wave of laws that were passed in the late 1960s regulating guns, especially to target African Americans. Including the Gun Control Act of 1968, which adopted new laws prohibiting certain people from owning guns, providing for beefed up licensing and inspections of gun dealers, and restricting the importation of cheap Saturday night specials, pocket pistols, that were popular in some urban communities. So let me understand this. The NRA is totally, the NRA is like, oh yeah, oh my God, no, we're Americans. It's a God-given right to protect ourselves and own a fucking gun. We're going to have that. But then all of a sudden, when Black people show up with guns, they shit their fucking pants. They're like, oh shit, Black people put this together and now they're practicing their right too. And we got to put an end to this shit. Okay. So the NRA that had been so vehemently against it now was with the government, all for the Mulford Act, while this entire time they were against any kind of restriction. So there's your hypocrisy. So when they come out and they claim themselves to be the longest standing civil rights organization, I want to barf in my mouth a few times because it is simply hypocritical on the part of the NRA, because anybody who can Google or read, which we know Trump can't, he can't Google or read, would Google this and read the history of the only times that laws get changed is when Black people buy guns and show up to the state house and demand their rights. This is when shit begins to, these white politicians start shaking in their boots and they're like, oh shit, we got to change the law. So, it gave me an idea. I was like, there is a really big lesson here. I think as Americans, I think all Americans, I think most Americans are pretty sick and tired of these mass shootings, innocent lives being lost on a daily basis. So I was like, bam, what if, and just what if, the women, the ethnic minorities, and especially Muslims and Black people just went out and bought all the guns and just all the bullets? You understand how quickly those laws were changed? Those laws would fucking change overnight, people. They would change those laws overnight. They're like, oh shit, Muslims got them guns. Oh shit, we got to change the laws right now. We can't have them. We can't have them Muslims walking around with them guns. We can't have that. Well, listen, Chad, when I see you, I was visiting my brother and I was visiting my family in Texas, which is a very difficult state to visit, although it has become quite cosmopolitan, so I can't entirely shit on Texas. We went to a cheesecake factory and there was a dude sitting there with a loaded, I believe it was an assault rifle on his arm, and he very gently put it on the booth, in the side of the booth where he was sitting while he was having his macaroni and cheese. And I was like, yeah, this is exactly the place to bring a loaded AK-47 because, or your assault rifle rather, because it's needed. Because cheesecake, I don't know if you know, but Cheesecake Factory is one of the most dangerous places on the planet. I would say it's even more dangerous than Juarez, Mexico, where they actually hang bodies right up in them streets. Cheesecake factories are dangerous, people. I don't know if you know this, but now you know. And apparently, when people go there, they need their assault rifles. To join and to talk a little bit more about this and to elaborate, I have a very fantastic dear friend who's also a fantastic producer, my very funny and awesome friend, Jonathan Jordan. Jonathan, can you hear me? You're mute. You're muted. There you are. Hi.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
This is so great. Nice to see you.
Nice to be here. Time to hydrate.
I've been running my mouth for a while, so I need to hydrate. Oh my God. Jonathan, what are your thoughts about the New York Attorney General filing this lawsuit against NRA?
I love it. It's long overdue. I mean, I think the gun issue is a huge symptom of a bigger problem, which is connected to mental health problems, and the access to healthcare and mental health care is not accessible to people who don't have the money to do that. So of course they're going to have guns and they're going to do things. And it's just, I mean, it's so many, the problem is so big. It's just one small fraction of it,
Well, the New York Attorney General is claiming that what the NRA has been doing is that they have a charity organization that they've been basically taking the money and their executives, which of course includes Wayne LaPierre, have just been having a merry old time with that cash rather than actually, putting it in the charity, which is very similar to what Trump has been doing with his charity. Remember, where that money was supposed to go to cancer kids, and they were taking that money and, I don't know, getting Russian hookers to pee on them. But this is, this is the kind of corruption that we're talking about here, right? So, but I mean, the way I was reading it, it sounds like this is gonna go for a number of years because the NRA has already filed a counter lawsuit, right? But now DC is stepping in, and DC is also suing them, which I think is really, really telling because I mean, look, you and I both know that the NRA has very, very deep pockets, and they have a lot of politicians in their pockets, like a lot, and mostly Republicans than Democrats, but I'm sure there are Democrats in there as well. But I think the fact that the DC Attorney General is coming out and filing this lawsuit and dragging them, do you think that wavers some of the power that the NRA has on Capitol Hill?
I think it's going to embolden a lot of his base, to be quite honest. To see a black woman, especially a woman in New York, taking on the NRA during an election time, it's kind of a touchy situation. I think it is drawing attention to part of the problem, that there's so much political or corporate interest in politics.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it's going to do two different things. It's going to either embolden the base, part of the base, but it's also going to hopefully embolden people like us, where we see two black attorney generals, Carl Ressin from DC, he's from Port-au-Prince. I love that. And you're seeing them take a stand against, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but the man, what we consider the man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Carl Ressin, he of course, he filed they filed the executive, they filed a lawsuit today, and he said in its lawsuit, the Office of the Attorney General alleges that the NRA Foundation violated district laws by allowing charitable funds to be used for non-charitable purposes, failing to operate independently, and placing the NRA's interests ahead of its own charitable purposes. Attorney General also alleges that the foundation's board of directors was controlled by the NRA and allowed the NRA to exploit it through risky multi-million-dollar loans, including a $5 million loan that the NRA has never repaid. Additionally, the foundation agreed to pay the NRA millions of dollars in fees without documentation of the work the NRA was performing or how it supported the foundation's charitable purposes. With this lawsuit, the Attorney General is seeking to return the charitable funds improperly wasted on the NRA to the foundation, and a court order imposing changes to the foundation to ensure it is operated independently and fulfill its charitable purposes. So not only have they been fucking over the American public, but the charitable foundation that they're claiming that was supposed to be for good purposes, they have been basically splurging it. Jonathan, what do you think they're splurging it on?
Well, there's a house that's about 35 miles south of Dallas that Wayne LaPierre's had on the market. Not sure if it's been sold yet, but it was purchased mostly by the NRA because his wife wanted it. She was in fear of their lives because of so much going on politically. So they purchased that new house. It's I think it's 4 bedrooms. It has a lakeside view. This house, if you look it up, it's crazy. It has what do you call it? A lakeside view, and then it has a golf course on property. It's just it's a ridiculously huge home, and yet the wife is saying that she had issues with the closet space, so that's why they're selling it. But
she had issues with the what?
Closet space in the men's room.
No.
Yeah.
In a $35 million property in Dallas.
I think it's no. It's not 35 million. It's a huge property, but it's in 35 miles south.
35 miles south.
Dallas. Yeah. I think it's 7 million.
Listen, in Texas, you can spend $2 million in Texas and like buy a ginormous mansion with actual people in it. You can buy people that come purchased in the house. Versus in California, you go to $2 million and they're just like, here's a 1-bedroom apartment in West Hollywood for you. Here you go. Right? That's like the difference between living in California, because cost of living is so high in Cali, and just the neighborhood in West Hollywood, it's so expensive versus living in Texas. But man, my biggest thing about the NRA is that, you can go to, and I don't know how many people know this, but with the NRA, you can like go to a fucking, a gun show and just buy a gun. No check, no background checks, nothing. I mean, you brought up a really good point about mental health, and I think mental health is a very, very valid point. And I think there is more and more mental health awareness that is happening, and I really do appreciate the fact that the stigma is going away. Maybe not in just certain ethnic communities, such as the community that I come from, but the conversation is definitely happening, and I think the taboos and the stigmas are definitely being confronted. But I feel like, look, England has had some situations where people have taken knives and stabbed people and killed people, but it's not you can't like mass stab someone, right? Mass stabbing is not a thing, right? At some point, by the second or the third person, you're gonna get your ass tackled down, and you're gonna get punched in the face. With guns and with assault rifles, especially, the need to have this assault rifle. I'm just curious to know, like, first of all, do you know people who own assault rifles? Because I do.
No, I'm not that I'm aware of.
Now,
I'm very nervous with guns, so I don't really talk about them with many people.
I'm not.
I'm scared.
Yeah, me too. I'm not a fan of guns. I don't really like them. I don't really like to participate in them. I have a buddy of mine. He's a white boy from New York and from upstate New York, and we've been buddies for a very, very long time. And he was very, very, right before they banned the assault rifles, he was just like, man, you're going to come to the gun shop with me to Burbank? Let's go buy this gun. I want to buy this assault rifle. I'm like, dude, what the fuck do you need an assault rifle for in the middle of Cali, dude? Like, what are you going to do with an assault rifle, man? And, the craziest thing is that one of our buddies who's with us is an ex-Marine, right? So he has been to wars. He has been there, done that, right? So I remember standing in the gun shop, and as he's like looking at the assault rifle, he's so fascinated. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna feel like a big man buying an assault rifle, And I turned to my ex-Marine friend and I looked at him and I was like, you were in the Marines. Would you buy a gun? Would you buy an assault rifle like that? He goes, Mona, I have had them my entire life. I have no desire to own one. This is an ex-Marine who went to West Point. Okay? This is somebody who went to a top-notch, school, and he's saying no. He's like, no, I don't want to own an assault rifle. What do you think, Jonathan, this obsession Americans have with buying guns? What is this, man? What is it? What is that about?
I would link it to like the Westerns people grew up seeing, even if you go to something as simple as Toy Story, we have Woody, and then all of a sudden it goes from the glorification of, the Western to like, astronauts in space. But it's that culture, American culture of gunslinging, Annie Oakley, and that, bigger is better. So of course now we've gone into like, remember the olden days of the Tommy guns and stuff like that? That was all glorified. Even as a kid, I remember seeing that.
Yeah. I mean, you're saying like you're just saying that as America, it's just very big part of our culture.
Exactly, 100%.
Right. So I mean, like I was saying earlier before I brought you on about the history of the NRA and why the NRA even got started is because there was the British Rifle Association, and that was and the NRA got started in in kind of opposition to the national to the British Rifle Association, to be like, damn you British, we can do this too. And then if like British people were like, fuck you British people, our dick's bigger than yours, and we can also have a National Rifle Association, and now we have a fucking giant mess on our hands. What do you think of the idea of what do you think of this suggestion? I personally think it's a really good idea. All like the women, the ethnic minorities, Black people, Muslim people, Indians, Middle Easterns, like we should just all go out and buy as many guns as we can.
I think that would definitely
get the laws changed, because the laws would change real fast.
I definitely think that would have an effect. The people who have the weapons changing hands and in mass, maybe even get the gays involved. We can get some gays with guns. I haven't seen any of those.
Love that. I would love to see gays with guns. Gays for guns.
Gays for guns.
I bet there are gays for. Isn't there a group gays for guns?
I haven't ever seen that. I mean, maybe I'm not aware of it.
That's hot. Gays for guns.
Or drag queen.
Oh shit! There is gays with guns. It's a social political group whose prime purpose is assisting not only LGBTQ people but everyone in purchasing a gun. I shit you not.
No.
Yes. Gays with guns. This is a real thing, dude.
All right. Yeah. What about drag queens for guns?
Drag queens for guns? Let's see that. Let's see. Now you got me started. Now I'm going down a spiral hole over here. Drag queens for guns? Okay. Let's see. Drag queens for guns. Drag queens against guns. Yeah, drag queens are not into guns. Apparently, that's not their jam. Yeah, drag queens are not into that. Apparently, gays are into guns, but the gays for guns, but
Of course.
not drag queens are like, I'm not feeling.
I'm not in it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I don't know, man. I can't imagine showing up to the Abbey and like gay dudes like getting down to like put glitter on their body and like dancing to some like techno music, dropping some Molly, like with some like bones on their side, like dancing with an assault rifle. Like, can you see this? Because I can't.
I definitely couldn't see that. I mean, we're not. I don't know many gays that are about guns. Maybe that's south of Wilshire.
Is that where the conservative gays are? Is that what it is?
No, I think I think West Hollywood's a conservative gays. I think we might need to go to Long Beach to find the armed ones.
Oh, the armed gay. Oh, you know, that's a very good point. That's a very good. Maybe that's how maybe that's how Long Beach stays so clean. Because anytime somebody drops some shit, you just pull a gun and you're like, pick that up, motherfucker, right there, just sideways. Pick your trash.
I said to recycle.
Recyclable.
You see this? You see this barrel? What does it say? Recycle. That's what I thought. Right? And then just like, they're like, okay, have a nice day. And then just, just like the thug comes out, just that little thug comes out.
Oh, I've definitely seen some thug come out in the bars. Yeah, for sure.
My God, I don't know, man. I don't know. When the Connecticut shooting happened, and when those little babies died, I really thought that was going to be a turning point for America and its relationship to guns. I really thought that the politicians on both aisles, and Democrats and Republicans, were both going to come together and say, "Look, we our babies are dying. Like these are mass shootings where our children, our future is dying. Right? You kill the future. What do you have left?" And nothing happened. Right. I remember Obama going on TV and shedding a tear, and it was all very nice and emotional and nice to see that acknowledgement. But nothing changed.
I lost a friend in the Pulse nightclub shooting in Orlando. A good friend of mine, Eddie Sotomayor, passed away from that. And it was very, very difficult. I couldn't even watch the news because I would see his photo pop up and just immediately start crying.
I'm so sorry.
That being said, it was even more frustrating. Oh, no, I appreciate it. Which was more frustrating was to find out that this man who was able to buy these guns and the gun and the bullets and all that was on the no-fly list, which is even more infuriating to think that somebody who's allowed to buy a gun is allowed to not allowed to fly, and that yet we're not connecting them together. It just
right.
At what point is stepping on privacy worth it to protect people's lives?
I mean, look, if you go to a therapist, right, and you go, and therapists, according to HIPAA, they'll protect you, right? It's confidentiality. What you discuss is discussed. Mm-hmm. But if during your therapy session you're talking about, I want to buy a gun and I'm gonna fucking shoot up the people and I'm gonna kill this and kill that, they by law have to report that, because that is, that is dangerous. They have to report that. So how is it that therapists, okay, are by law are told to inform something like that, but yet NRA is coming out and lobbying and saying that, hey, we don't want background checks. We don't because it somehow infringes upon privacy. I mean, it's who's coming up with this logic, man? Like, I don't understand how much money does it how much money does it cost to buy a politician's soul is what I'm trying to understand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. I think what it is not just that, but it's also the scare culture that politics in general has put in place. There's so much fear. Oh, like the whole attack on the suburbs that's going on currently. Oh, Joe Biden's trying to take away the ability to have a suburban neighborhood without low-income housing. And just so many other things that we use fear to ignite our voters to get them to the polls. And this is a perfect example of this, because if you're not getting the stamp of approval of the NRA, then that means everyone who has a gun is in fear of losing that source of protection and safety against, maybe outsiders, which could lead to also xenophobia, homophobia, whatever it may be, but it's that sense of safety.
You know, Jonathan, that guy who was the mass shooter in Pulse nightclub. You know, he was Middle Eastern. He was Afghanistani. He was from Afghanistan, if I'm not mistaken. And he was a Muslim guy. And he was married, I believe. And he was gay. He was closeted gay. And could not come out to his father because his father is a strict Muslim guy, and he couldn't come out to his family and tell him that he's gay, and then somehow claim his affinity for ISIS, but he was not a member of ISIS. He just said that he loved ISIS, which this is a conversation to go back to mental health. Right? This is somebody who is culturally and religiously being told that what he is a sin, what he is not good, or it's bad and it's unacceptable, and his father's gonna reject him, his family's gonna reject him, and he's gonna maybe burn in hell or some shit, right? So look, as a Muslim person, I can single-handedly tell you that there is a tremendous amount of homophobia in Muslim culture, tremendous, it's not even a little bit, it's tremendous. It's homophobia, it's transphobia, it's just a lot. And I think it is about time. I think those conversations are beginning to happen, but they're not happening at the level that they need to be happening, because there are children who are closeted gay and they're terrified of coming out to their parents. They're absolutely petrified. And look, in America, it might be a little different, that even in America, they live here, they grew up here, they're terrified of coming out. But if you live in a conservative Muslim country, coming out is not really an option. It comes with almost it comes with a bullseye on your head. Your family will be the first people to disown you. Your family will be the first people to throw you under the bus, per se. And it's really fucking sad. It is really, really sad. So when I actually read that, the comedian side of me was like, I was like, you just wanted to suck a dick and you ended up killing people? Why'd you just suck a dick? Just suck a dick. That's all you had to do. Did you know that he was going to, he was on Grindr. He was on Squirt, I think. Isn't Squirt one of them?
Scruff, maybe?
No, is it Squirt, a Scruff, or is it Squirt?
I think there is a Squirt. I think there's a Scruff, a Squirt, a Jacked, and a Grindr. No, I've only been on.
He was going to orgy parties. He was having gay orgy sex. All this came out later. And it really made me sad, because I was like, man, if he only had someone to talk to, if he only had someone to go and have a conversation with, it's okay. You're fine just the way you are. And I feel like those conversations are so important. So what I want to ask you, as a person of color to another person of color, you are you are a mixed ethnicity, but you are also Black. Do you feel like there is also immense amounts of homophobia and transphobia in the Black culture?
Oh my God, I love that you asked that. Yes, 1000%. And that's been a really kind of a sore point for me during this Black Lives Matter movement. Of course, I'm for Black Lives Matter, but as somebody who is Black, who is gay, I have experienced a lot of the homophobia from the Black community. I mean, I used to be called, all different types of names from kids, and most of them were predominantly Black, calling me, F word, or, faggot, or whatever like that. So I feel also
as young as when, Jonathan? As young as what? How old?
Oh
were
my
you
God.
heard that word for the first time?
I remember it was my first day of middle school, so I was 11.
Wow. Yeah. Uh-oh. You said your phone needs to be charged?
No, my headphones are not holding the charge. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Sorry.
But anyway.
So you're 11 years old, you're in middle school, and you hear this for the first time, and the first person who tells you this is a white kid, a Black kid. What is he?
Well, the first kid was a Black kid, but or white kid rather. His name was Michael Segman. I was 11 years old. But then as I grew up, I think
what made him say that, Jonathan? What made him say that? I'm like, what made him say that?
I mean, I was one of those kids that would sing a lot of Disney songs when I was little. So, Still catch me doing it now. But I mean, I was into acting, and I was just kind of a bigger kind of a personality, a little eccentric.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of Black culture, Black men have a higher expectation of masculinity. You can see a bunch of white men, with buff nails and very metrosexual. But when a Black man does that, it becomes a little too gay. Unless you're Andre 3000 and you're some rapper, then it's a slightly different thing. And I think you see even in Latin culture a level of that as well.
The level of, where do you think that comes from?
I'm not really sure. I think Black men don't have a lot of, didn't have when I was growing up a lot of positive role models other than athletes and rap stars, hip hop figures. So maybe it's connected to that, that's what you saw a lot of kids trying to emulate: baggy pants, big chains. We didn't have a lot of, you could say, oh, there's this person, there was Oprah, but there weren't a lot of, clean cut, well-spoken Black people that I remember to see on television that I can connect to as a kid.
Right. Well, so you're saying that Black men are expected to be like this hyper masculine.
Yes. Oh, definitely.
It's a cultural expectation.
Oh, it's a definite cultural thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So you get this, you get told this. Do you come home and tell your mother?
Yeah, I asked my mom, I said, hey mom, what's a faggot? And she said, oh, it's something really mean people call gay people. And I remember just being like, because at that age, you don't even know that you are, you're just being you. You're hoping you're not,
Right.
And then she goes, why do you ask that? And I go, nothing. I'm probably watching The Simpsons just.
Oh, Jonathan, that breaks my heart. So you had no one to talk to.
Yeah, I think it really is connected to, in our society, when you find that you're a part of a class of people that's marginalized, it doesn't just take on having to accept that yourself. You have the judgment of everyone else. So unfortunately for the shooter in the Pulse nightclub thing, culturally, he's been programmed that this is such a bad thing. Yes. That is how he views the world. Even if someone were there to talk to him and say it's okay, it's still a judgmental thing. I still cry after masturbating sometimes.
That makes two of us. High five. Okay. Hey. During these times, baby, what's up? Bring on the tears.
Right.
Sometimes you're just like halfway through. You're like, I can't get through this. You just put it on the side. You're like, I'm going to die alone.
Well, I just hope you're wearing your mask when you're masturbating.
No, goodness, no.
Oh, okay.
That's when I'm the most reckless. Are you kidding me? That is the moment to be the most reckless, in your own bed, baby. That's the doing the masturbation session. I don't know, man. So first time you get told this, and then at what age were you? Did you come out to your family, or even come out to yourself?
Oh, wow. Okay, so I did the typical early 90s coming out of the closet thing, where you tell your parents that you're bisexual first. That's just the normal way you do it.
Is that an early 90s thing?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm bisexual. Oh, it's a phase. Because you could shut it off, I have control if I say I'm bisexual, and then I can say to my mom, oh, it's a phase. I changed my mind if she doesn't react in a way that I like,
Because that somehow softens the blow, per se.
Literally.
Just
yeah.
The blow.
It's like homo light. It's not too much. Like, I'll live in Silver Lake. I won't be in West Hollywood in a bare midriff,
Homo light. Oh my God. So what happens? So you come out to your family, you say, I'm bisexual. Do you bring boys around, or do you always just bring girls around them anyways?
I did have a girlfriend in high school, and she was okay with me liking guys as well.
Yeah.
So I was kind of bisexual, but I think a lot of that was like wishful thinking, hoping that that's what I would become. Mm-hmm. I think once again, we see ourselves through that judgmental lens of what we want to be, and especially wanting to be in entertainment. I thought for myself, that was what would be best for me.
Yeah.
It was very hard for me to realize, wow, this is not it. Like I'm not into girls anymore. But as I got older, it became so much easier to be like, all right, I'm 100% gay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. And that's amazing. So you're like what, like 18, 19, and you're just like, you know what? I'm over this shit. Like, I don't need to
Oh,
fight.
no. It took a little longer than that.
Like in like mid-20s?
I did have a few, I'd say little, I relapses in heterosexuality, few of them along the way.
I'm sorry you had to go back to that. I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry you had to go back to that.
This is a safe space.
It is such a, please, you did not, please, seriously. Heterosexuality is not what they build it out to be. Just seriously.
Well, I think I stopped messing around with girls in my late 30s.
Okay.
I mean, I think, of course, sexuality is on a scale,
Right.
So you can fall in like
that McKinsey scale that McKinsey talked about.
Yeah, shades of like a shade of gray. Yeah.
Right. I mean, life is one giant shade of gray, right? I think I'm always amazed when people try to look at life as black and white. I'm like, life is the farthest thing from black and white.
Yeah.
It is so many shades of gray, or I would say so many shades of gay. Like it would just be so many. Like you can never just say one thing. I was have you ever seen Drunk History?
Oh yeah, of course.
So have you seen that one episode where it's about McKinsey and how he conducted one of the largest sexual studies in the country, or in the world rather?
No, I never saw that one.
Watch that episode. It's amazing. And McKinsey was so like, he was married, and his wife were like, we're gonna like invite couples over, and we're gonna have orgy parties, and we're gonna take down like how they're feeling and what they like and what their sexuality about, what they get turned on and what they get turned off by. And then he was like, hey, he goes to his wife, he goes, hey, do you mind if I like just mess around with dudes? And she's like, no, knock yourself out. This is all like one big study. Do it. So he was like bringing dudes over, and she was sometimes part of it. Sometimes she's not part of it. And he's like jotting down notes. Then she's like out there like experimenting. And he really discovered. And then they started interviewing their students, different students, because he was a professor. Started interviewing all these students to ask them like, what turns you on? What kind of things are you into? What do you fantasize about? Do you watch pornography? What kind of pornography do you watch? And really delved into, and then came to the realization that, oh my God, I'm not a pervert. It's not perverted of me to be turned on by certain things or have certain sexual thoughts. It's that everybody is a fucking perv. Like in that sense, everybody has a level of, some people are a lot more on the kinkier side, some people are a lot more on the vanilla side, but there is, just like you said, a sliding scale, and it's fascinating. The way Drunk History explains it, it's just so much easier to digest, and it's just so much fun to watch, because his wife, and I think kudos to McKinsey's wife, because she's so open-minded. I mean, they're both so incredibly open-minded. They're like, we're just gonna experiment. We're just gonna have a bunch of people come over and like bang in our house. Like, let's do this shit, That sounds amazing.
That is. I'm waiting for the biopic of that. I wonder who has the rights to it.
I want to be the first. I think they did one with Liam Neeson playing McKinsey.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they already did this one, and I'm always fascinated by that. I feel like but Western society is so much more progressive and so much farther ahead when it comes to exploring sexuality. I feel like the part of the world that I come from at some point was a lot more ahead of the rest of the world. We invented the fucking Kama Sutra, for God's sake. My ancestors did anyways. And then somehow the British came and just started putting the kibosh on everything. I mean, look, homosexuality was readily accepted in India. It was never frowned upon. The third gender was readily accepted. There was no phobias of such kind. Like, it was embraced. It wasn't something that was frowned upon. It's only when the British came and started imposing their Christian values on us, and this homosexuality is bad. We have to ban homosexuality. You can't be having these orgy parties. That is like, against the religion, against God's will, or whatever the fuck. And that's when all this stuff started coming into and permeated into our society to what it has become now, which there is so much sexual taboo. So, I mean, I think what I want to ask you about is coming back to, Black culture. You were talking about, that you were kind of, Black Lives Matter has been a big, conversation in the media and the news and, around the world, actually. But you said that you have kind of torn feelings about it. And that's mainly because of how homosexuality is perceived in Black culture, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's just, I feel it. You saw the march that went on Pride weekend. It was supposed to be the gay pride parade, but then it became kind of a mesh of the two. And I just find that, in not only just Black culture being judgmental of their own people who happen to just be gay or lesbian or bisexual, but also Black
or even trans, I would think.
Or trans. Yeah. But even someone lighter than them. I've had, racial slurs said to me by celebrities, 2 celebrities. I'm not going to say them, but one's very well known in the Black community as an actor, and the other one's a musician. And when I was growing up as a kid, they made jokes about me being lighter skinned than them. I think that it's a good time for everyone to look within our own community as well. As we ask for a level of acceptance and allies to stand by our side, we can only do better, be better in our own community as well, as an example.
Yeah. They were hurling racial slurs at you, or were they saying derogatory regarding your sexuality?
I was 11 years old, and a known celebrity.
Oh, I'm just kidding, Jonathan. You don't have
I'll
to.
tell you. It was Damon Wayans.
Wow.
Yeah, I was at.
Isn't Damon Wayans bisexual? He came out as bisexual.
He did?
Yeah.
Interesting, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there we go. Yeah, I was just at the movie theater with my mom, and he said to me, he called me the Black version of Powder. Remember the movie from the 90s, Powder?
He did not.
He was laughing and pointing, and I was 11, so of course.
What an asshole.
Yeah.
That's a very shitty thing to say.
Yeah.
Oh no, not Damon Wayans. Who's the one who's older than Marlon, the youngest one?
Oh, Keenan Ivory Wayans?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to find the one. I actually had a giant crush on him growing up, like a giant crush. Is it Keenan? Which one is it? I'm trying to remember his name.
Now I'm trying to find out who.
Is it so? It's not Sean Wayans.
No way.
Yeah, Sean Wayans had come out and claimed himself to be bisexual at one point. Yes, and in the 90s, I remember actually.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, Sean Wayans had come out, and so that's pretty interesting that he would come out and say a derogatory. And who was the second person?
It was when I was in middle school. I went to school with Omarion from a band called B2K, a hip hop group.
I remember Omarion.
Yeah, he called me a piss-colored.
A what?
Piss-colored brother, and he did it as a joke, but it was still kind of offensive at that age.
I had never heard of that. Piss-colored brother?
Yeah, because they say like high yellow.
So am I piss-colored too then?
No, you're like a nice like toasted marshmallow.
That is the sweetest thing a man has ever said to me.
It's true. I'm jealous. I wish I was that color.
You can get it. We live in California. You just go to the beach.
This is work right here. Just this. This is work.
We have to take you to Santa Monica and just let you lay there for a little bit and get the toasty marshmallow look that you're referring to of mine.
Yes, let's do it.
Well, first of all, I just want to say that's really fucked up, and I'm sorry that you had to endure that. And I'm sure as a child it had a tremendous impact. I mean, as children, we're just like sponges, man. We just take everything in, we just absorb everything in, and it really like leaves a scar on you. But that it's fascinating because Damon Wayans to come out and say something like that. His own brother, Sean Wayans, had come out and claimed himself to be bisexual. So I wonder what kind of derogatory comments, if any, he would use. I mean, look, Shantae Wayans is gay. and Shanta Wayans is the niece.
Oh, really?
Shanta Wayans is a lesbian. She's very open about it. She's wonderful, hilarious comic. She's been on my show a couple of times. She's fantastic. You know, she really is a great comic, and I'm so proud of her. The fact that she is openly gay and she talks about her relationships on stage, and it's really fantastic. I wonder how much of those prejudices among families go down when they find out that their own son, their own daughter, their own niece is gay. You know what I'm saying? Do you think that makes an impact on people?
Oh, absolutely. I think in families you see that in all different cultures.
Yeah.
I think it's still that mindset, that judgmental mindset of like, oh, I love you, but I don't agree with your lifestyle. That same thing, even in a joke form, is still a painful thing. To be looked at as different, to not be perceived as what, you know, your family wants you to be in general, you know.
Right, because you're not part of the breeder clan, so you're no longer, you know, you're not a breeder, man. Which is interesting, because you can be gay and still breed.
That's for sure, yeah.
You can totally breed. Nothing stops you just because
it actually takes like the least amount of intellect to breed. That's the easiest thing. Anyone can breed.
Listen, two gay guys can get together with two lesbians and breed. That is a possibility. They don't necessarily need to have intercourse, but they're absolutely can breed and have a child together. It has been done many a times. I personally know people who have done that.
Yeah, it's not that. I still think that that's still so much considered a mark of masculinity, especially in Hispanic culture, that the abundance of children means that you're potent, that you're like a man. And I think it's your man.
Yeah.
And yet it's still not considered in Black culture. We still don't realize that a lot of these, and I hate to say it, a lot of these men are not stepping up to the plate and helping raise the children. You know, I would like to see a lot more. You know, how many times have I seen a Father's Day working in my years of working in restaurants? I would look around on Father's Day. I didn't see tons of Black fathers there.
Right.
And I'm not to say that there aren't good Black men out there. There are, but I think it's that same narrative needs to be put forth that, like, yeah, you're a man, but raise your kids. That's being a man.
Right. 100%. Listen, having a child, animals have children too. Raising a child, and raising a child well, that is a job and a half. You know what I'm saying? Look, I come from a culture where it's the same thing, right? It's hyper masculinity. The more children you have, the more masculine you are. You know, my father wanted to have 10 sons. I shit you not, 10.
Wow.
So after he had 4 boys, I came along and he was like, "Oh shit, I gotta pack this shit in, because if I have 5 more of these bitches, I don't think I'm gonna live through this." You know, I gotta pack this shit in right now. And my mom tells me the story. She was like, "Oh yeah, your father wanted to have 10 boys, and then you came along and he was like, no, you have to get the tubes tied up, get them tied up. I don't want to have any more children." And so I was talking to my mom and I was like, "So technically you owe me one, Mom. Like, I saved your life is like kind of what I did. I'm like awesome in that sense. Like, I like saved your uterus. Like, that's what I did, you know, from like constantly like breeding a bunch of brats, you know, who wouldn't love you as much as I love you. You know, so I mean, but that is like a cultural thing, man, where the more you fucking pump and the more children you bring into the world, the more masculine you are. But nobody looks at the quality of how you raise those children. Nobody looks at how those kids are what kind of human beings they're gonna grow up to be. They're just like, "Oh, I brought people into the world." It's like, yeah, but they're garbage human beings. They're just pissing, shitting, and farting everywhere and just going around, and like now they're gonna go procreate with some more assholes, and then there's more idiots on the road now. Like that now the 405 is clogged up because you couldn't fucking pull out. Like, this is where we're at now. You know what I'm saying? Like that's I mean, I don't know, man. Jonathan, what the fuck is it gonna take in our, in African American culture and Black culture? I think I know what it's going to take in the Muslim culture, but what do you think it would take in the Black culture for this level of taboo against homosexuality and transphobia to go down?
It's a good question. I would say a large portion of this is driven by religion, and that's one of the main reasons why the proposition for gay marriage in California failed, is because the Black community was very much against it. That mixed debatably with a little bit of confusion on yes or no, do I vote yes or no or whatever. But I think the first step is realizing that if we want a stronger voice in the United States as a community that's as reputable as we are, and we deserve to be acknowledged as that, if we want that, we need to treat those in our own community with the respect that we're asking to be treated with. And until we can stand tall and do that as a community and say, look, we are we don't have to all agree, but we can love each other, then it's going to be hard for us to say that we want the same thing in the United States, hey, United States, we want to be, acknowledged as a community that's respectable. And, it's just kind of hypocritical in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. Dave Lerman is asking, this is not the question. He said, ask your guest if he has seen the One Day at a Time Netflix Latin reboot.
No, I haven't. I heard that somebody on there was snubbed at the Emmys, but I haven't actually seen it.
Oh, I haven't seen it either. He said, Dave also asked, who is the best out comedian? I think Wanda Sykes to me sits as one of the best.
That's a good one.
Yeah, Wanda Sykes is really good. Who's also really good is the guy who's on SNL. He's also a stand-up comic. He's Asian. He's an Asian gay comic.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to think the best out gay comic. I mean, Ellen was pretty funny, but I think I'm going to get canceled for saying that.
We know how that went down, Jonathan.
I know. But it's, to really piggyback on that thing.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah, but Kate McKinnon is not a stand-up comic. Kate McKinnon is a comedic actress. She doesn't do stand-up. But Kate McKinnon is a genius. Like, I worship Kate McKinnon. No, I don't think any SNL character has ever come out and done as many characters as she does, and does them so effortlessly. She is a genius in my part. Of course, my girl Margaret. Of course, the great. I go to the Church of Cho. When I had Margaret on, I was interviewing her on my podcast, and I was like, "Did you know, Margaret, that I go to the Church of Cho?" And she just started cracking up. She was like, "What's the Church of Cho?" I'm like, "It's you. It's me worshiping you. You, the Church of Cho." Oh yeah, Jane Lynch. But Jane Lynch is also a comedic actress, not a stand-up comic, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Come on, man. Where's your gay dictionary? Let's do this, man. Come on.
For me?
Yes.
I'm trying to think. I mean, I me. I watch television, but I don't watch a lot of stand-up as much as I should.
Yeah.
I mean, thank God you've gifted me with so many great stand-up shows.
Aw, I'm so glad I could do that. We have some comments here. Dave Lerman says, "OMG, Mona Sheikh, stop being so tremendous." You stop it, Dave Lerman. You just stop. You just stop it right now. But thank you. You're so sweet. And then your comment about the marshmallow. He said, "Mona, that toasted marshmallow is the most delicious recipe on the planet." I am the most delicious recipe, or toasted marshmallow is? Hey, okay. Why am I single? What's happening here? Okay. Oh yeah. Oh my God. Karen Kilgariff. Yes. Have you ever heard? I just heard she has one of the highest rated podcasts. 900,000 downloads per episode.
Wow.
It's called My Favorite Murder. Have you heard of it?
No. Teach me.
It's amazing. It's like an amazing podcast. Totally check it out. Totally worth checking out. She's great.
Mona's just taught me all about Beyonce.
Listen.
She's my Beyonce school teacher.
I love anything to do with Beyonce. Oh yeah, Sean Hayes, of course, an actor. Charles Nelson Riley. Who's that?
Charles
Who is that? I don't know.
Wasn't Richard Pryor bisexual?
No, Richard Pryor was.
There's some. Yeah,
Paul Mooney is gay. Is gay. Paul Mooney. Let me tell you a story about Paul Mooney. Okay. this is me ever before doing stand-up ever being ever a concept or a thought or anything. Okay. I'm in New York City, and I had a buddy of mine, and he was like, hey, do you want to go to a comedy club with me? Now, I had never been to a comedy club my entire life. Okay. And he goes, we're going to go to Caroline's, and it's a late show. It starts at like 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. And there's this comedian by the name of Paul Mooney. And he's headlining. And I was like, I don't know who this guy is, but I'd love to watch. Okay. So like an asshole. By the way, people listening, don't ever sit all the way in the front at a comedy club. That is a death trap. Do not do that. This is coming from a stand-up comic. Most, stand-up comics, we can be assholes, okay? Because we want to have fun and just have a good time. You will be the sheep that will be getting sacrificed. So just a heads up. So I did not know that you don't go and sit all the way at the front of the comedy club. So like an asshole, me and my buddy sit all the way in the front, okay? We're at Caroline's, and this very handsome comic comes out, and he's very funny, and he's very dirty, very raunchy. And he turns to my friend at one point. He goes, yo, man, that's your girl? And he goes, no, she's just my friend. He goes, all right. He's like, can I holler at you after the show? And I was just like, what the fuck is happening? This is so weird, right? Paul Mooney comes out, sits down, and he's talking, and he couldn't be nicer. Like, he couldn't be any more generous and kind and lovely. He is like the opposite of what I end up hearing about. Like, the other people were like, oh my God, Paul Mooney can be so harsh. I was like, Paul Mooney was an absolute gentleman. I mean, not was he just a gentleman. They brought him a bucket of champagne, and he took his bucket of champagne, he put it on our table, told the server to get 3 glasses, okay? Put the glasses down and took out his champagne and poured 3 glasses, one for each of us, okay? And was just so lovely and so nice. Not one thing that came out of his mouth was antagonistic or anything towards me. Not one. However, there was only one. It was all ethnic people. It was all black. I was probably the only brown person in their room. It was all black people and one white couple. He was going in so hard on white people. That white couple got so uncomfortable. They got up and they left. They couldn't take it. And I was just like, oh my God, who is this guy? And then later learned about, of course, the great Paul Mooney, writing for Richard Pryor and all, and coming up with just all these great things. And I was just so blown away by it. And that's my Paul Mooney story. But I didn't know. But I don't know if Paul Mooney has ever come out of the closet, though. Do you know that?
I don't know any. I've never heard of Paul Mooney.
We have to.
Mona, all I do is I watch the news, read the news. I should do more in television because that's what I'm in the industry I'm in. But
yes, you're a producer. Jonathan, let's talk a little bit about your producer side. So what kind of shows are you producing, and what kind of shows are you working on?
So I work with my production partners, Zach Keats and Laura Keats. Laura Keats is the creator of Pitbulls and Prolies, and she's been the one that's kind of taught me what I know. We create a lot of docu-soap, reality television stuff. I am working with another producer as well on a kids show, helping them sell that. So what we do is we develop and we pitch reality shows and get them going.
Wow, that's amazing. Dave Norman is coming out and saying, actress Shore Agdashlu, that's her name, Agdashlu, welcome. I told you Mona was good. Oh, I don't know what that means, Dave. I'm sorry, did I misunderstand? Paul is out. He is. Oh, okay, great. Come on, in this day and age, Jesus, come on. If you're in America, I can understand if you live in Alabama or Mississippi. You're oh shit, you ain't coming out of the closet. Jonathan, you and I were getting ice cream. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? And we were coming back, and we were looking at this young kid, very good-looking young kid who was he's homeless. And you were telling me that his family disowned him because he came out of the closet and came out to them. Do I remember the story right?
Yeah, he's gay, and he said he can't go home. I'm not really sure of the details because I had talked to him one time on the street before he was actually homeless. You would see him around the town, and he would be with this group of friends. And I did ask him. I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" He's like, "Oh, I'm just here. My family, kicked me out." And he's like, "I'm living out here." I was like, "Oh," and I could tell he was gay. So I'm pretty sure that's probably why, because he's from some city in the South. I can't remember where he came from specifically, but yeah, just seeing him kind of go from having drinks in West Hollywood to homeless now with 3 adult men. He was laying on the floor with 3 adult men next to a 7-Eleven.
That is so sad.
Yeah.
This is the richest country on the planet. How are we not able to take care of our people? I don't understand.
But that connects to what you're saying in this toxic masculinity culture that we have. That's even more of a noticeable thing in ethnic communities, I believe.
Yeah.
But in other communities, a gun makes somebody a man. So I think that until we really change our idea of what's acceptable and find love in each other, that it's going to be really hard for us to push back against inequality until we can love each other and accept each other.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I just wanted to kind of pivot away just a little bit and talk about good old Dr. Fauci. Good old Dr. Fauci. I was listening to his interview, and I believe it was a Christian Amanpour show, and he was being interviewed about, of course, that interview that Trump that came out yesterday on Axios, where Trump was being interviewed by Jonathan Swan, who I again did a fantastic job interviewing him. And one of the things that, of course, the gentleman interviewing Dr. Fauci said that when Trump was confronted about that, over 150,000 Americans are dying, are dead already, and 1,000 Americans are dying on a daily basis. And Trump came out and said, "It is what it is," right? Yeah. Which is the most disrespectful, dismissive way of acknowledging anybody's loss or pain. And Dr. Fauci was just so brilliant about how he just kind of navigated away from it. And he was like, look, he's the president of the United States. His people listen to him. His followers listen to him. He has to be consistent on his messaging. Now, Dr. Fauci came out and told everyone today that him and his family are getting death threats. Jonathan, what the fuck is going on, man?
It's really frustrating because, once again, being a member of the gay community, I know how Fauci has a history of being such a fantastic doctor and dealing with pandemics and stuff like that. So it's frustrating because he's already kind of earned his stripes in that, and yet we're still debating the science is completely obvious to everyone. I'm going to say this because I know she's not watching, but my mother, she even is like, I don't like Fauci. I'm like, what does this man need to do for you to like him? All he wants to do is prevent deaths from this virus. That's all he wants to do.
He's not in a popularity contest like the president. The man is like, look, wear the damn mask, do the social distancing, don't go into fucking bars, okay? Stay outdoors, and please, if you are immune compromised, you are older, you have to be extra cautious. He's not asking you to fucking do calisthenics every day. That's not what he's asking you to do. Those are just basic things. Every other country, New Zealand has been able to do all the developed countries, right? Germany, South Korea, they all have been able to curtail the virus. But America somehow is constantly resisting and fighting. How could a nation that has respected and bought brains from around the world and have some of the latest, most, vital technology in the world can be so backwards, Jonathan? What the hell happened to us?
I ask that every single day. I mean, certain things just make sense. How are we still supporting a party that's against universal health care? How are we still privatizing healthcare when this entire situation is caused by inadequate healthcare? It just doesn't make any sense. And this is similar to how politics will choose their villains. And now their villains have moved on, like the judge whose son was murdered a couple weeks ago, where now going after people who are simply doing their job. There's no political interests or anything. They're just doing their job because that's what they're supposed to do.
Right. Jonathan, you are being asked, is your guest married? I'm being asked.
No, not yet. If you know someone, just send them in the comments. I'd be happy to reach out.
Just DM me. Here we go. Dave Lerman says Mona is 2020 toasted marshmallow Oprah of the internet. Okay, that is a really heavy duty title that I don't think my tiny little shoulders are ready to carry. Dave Lerman also said, who would play each of you in a bio picture? Ooh, that's a real fun question, Dave. That is a really fun question.
I would have Gemini Man style Will Smith play me. So we'll do that special effect he did in that movie, Gemini Man, where he makes himself look younger, maybe slightly better. Boom.
Will Smith?
Yeah. But we'll make him younger like he did in that movie. So.
Yeah, I like that. Who would play me? That is a very good question. I don't know. I really don't know.
No Priyanka for you?
Please. Please. I want a talented actress, so that she would not be it. I don't know. I really don't know who would. I would have to think about this, Dave. This is now you send my head off in a loop, man. I don't even know. I was thinking about like Zoe Saldana, who. Yeah, because I think Zoe Saldana is, but she's all right.
She got in trouble for doing Nina Simone. And
did you watch the movie?
No, I couldn't. I saw the trailer and it was just like.
I watched it. I watched the whole thing.
Was it good?
Horrible. It's horrible. It is atrocious what they did to them. I mean, it's really heartbreaking because Nina Simone was such a powerhouse. First of all, I think it was wrong casting, and even Jenny Saldana just came out and said I should have never played Nina Simone. I mean, she really should have just passed that role on to somebody else. She should have been like, you know what? With all due respect, I'm just going to turn this down. I don't think I'm the right actress for this. You need to go and hire somebody who's going to do justice to this role. I cannot do justice to this role. Yeah, I don't know. It was. It's a real tragedy because Nina Simone was such a. I watched the documentary on Nina Simone, and Nina Simone herself had tremendous mental health issues that she was fighting. You know, I believe she was bipolar, if I'm not mistaken. But very talented, very passionate, genius, spoke fluent French, brilliant pianist, like just brilliant all along, just brilliant, but not really given the due that she deserved. You know, I don't know. Who do you think should have played Nina Simone, Jonathan?
Cynthia Erivo from she was nominated for Harriet Tubman.
Oh, she's amazing.
She was awesome.
Oh,
she's great.
God.
She's been around for. She was in The Color Purple, the musical.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Announcing her last
what
name.
About Lupita Nyong'o.
I don't feel like energy-wise, she seems like she's right for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that. Yeah, the actress who played Harriet Tubman, she's tremendous.
She's great. And then there's the one who plays. I can't remember. I can't say her name. I never am able to say her name. Aduba, what's her name?
Oh my God! Yes, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Crazy Eyes.
Yes. What's her name? Aduba.
They need to start doing that, Mona.
Uzo Aduba.
They need to start doing like the pronunciation, like the phonetics pronunciation under any names that I have never heard anymore.
Hi, we need you need an ethnic name translator.
Like a little app, you can just scan your phone and then it'll say the name for you.
Hi, can you say your ethnic name for me? And then somebody is just like, my name is Muhammad Al Sharif, and then it comes back is, oh, you're Mo Sharif. Okay, all right, awesome. Thank you for translating that. Because Americans, with us, it's all about convenience. We want everything fast and quick and convenient. How do we make this convenient? Oh, your name is look, my birth name, my legal name is Mavish. It is not Mona. It's Mavish. Okay, it's a beautiful name. Mavish means like the moon. That's what it means. Okay, I came to America. I did not know that America is where ethnic names come to die. I did not know that. I go to high school. This kid Jose sitting in the back. Here's my ethnic name, and he goes, "Yo, my bitch," and I was like, "Oh shit." Oh my God, my name just got destroyed into tethers. And I was like, oh, fuck this. I got to come up with a new name. And I came up with Mona. And this is how I ended up becoming Mona.
I'm sorry. That sounds terrible.
Yeah. But I mean, I like Mona Sheikh. I really like my full name now. I like this. It's become a stage name and everything. But yeah, I imagine, nobody wants to be called my bitch all through high school. Yo, my bitch.
Yeah, I'm surprised if that would have happened to you now. I feel like you would regret that, severely regret that.
Oh, fuck that. Imagine I've been in therapy for 12 years. I would have been in therapy a lot sooner than that. Like, I would be just like my entire therapy session would be based around, my teacher called me. There was a roll call and she named me my bitch Sheikh. That's how she called me. I mean, dude, ethnic names are rough in America. It's not really accepted here.
Yeah. My legal last name is Smith, so I never.
Which is as white as it comes.
As white as possible. They're like, my dad was John Smith, so they're like, we're going to make you Jonathan Smith. Let's bleach that and make it even whiter. And literally, look at me. Came out all light.
I mean, I always think that you and I are around the same shade, aren't we?
In our heart, maybe. I would love to be toasted marshmallow.
You know that we can make that happen for you, Jonathan.
You say this, so let's make it happen.
I'm gonna take you to the beach, and we're gonna turn you into a marshmallow. Is what a toasted marshmallow.
I'm okay with that.
That's what we're gonna do. As far as the we got some more ethnic names coming here. It says, do you two miss Broadway, and when do you think it will be back? I went to Broadway shows quite a bit. I mean, I lived in New York City for 15 years, so I went a lot. One of the shows that I really, 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 really wanted to see in person was Hamilton, but I also don't have $1,500 to go see a show, so there's also that, But the movie was amazing. Did you watch it?
I haven't seen it. It's 3 hours long, and my attention span is not 3 hours.
You're just like
I have to devote some time, and honestly, I feel I have this like innate thing inside of me, like inside of me, wherever I see something that has so much hype, I'm like, I don't want to watch it. I boycott it. I will not watch it till I'm ready.
Because it has so much hype?
I don't know. It's a lot to take on, like. Even like grand finales of shows, Game of Thrones, House of Cards, it's like coming on. I'm like, everyone's excited. I'm like, I don't want to watch it right now.
Oh, because are you one of the you're just like I'm not gonna go with the flow. I'm my own man kind of.
I think that's it.
You're like, I'm not gonna be part of the popularity. And by the way, speaking of Game of Thrones, have you ever seen the parody Gay of Thrones?
Is that a porno?
No, it's not a porno. It's an actual parody. It's hilarious.
No, that sounds amazing.
It's a gay hairstylist and literally talking about the entire episode and just talking about what happens in the entire episode. It's fucking hysterical.
Okay, I mean,
and he just does his own take, and it's hysterical. And the first time I heard it, I thought it was hilarious. He said, "Oh my God, honey, let me tell you something. What happened to Game of Thrones this week?" And then he just does a whole recap. It's fucking hysterical.
And it takes up less time too, instead of way
less time. and you don't have to see, like incest and rape, which is all of the things that they cover in Game of Thrones. I have never seen a single episode of Game of Thrones.
Really?
I've seen it. No,
it's a fun show, but it's a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I've never really kind of got into it, and that wasn't really my jam. Maybe I should catch up, but I don't know. Have you seen all of the episodes?
I've seen most of the episodes. I jump around.
And what did you find it? Clearly you liked it.
I liked it. I when people say, "Oh, you have to watch the end of something," I shut off. It took me probably 2 years to watch the last episode of House of Cards. And a lot of times this happens to me because I realize this because I have a great therapist. Shout out to Fred Wilkie.
Shout out, therapist. What's up?
Yeah, what's up? Best $40 I spend every week.
Hey.
He's also the only man in my life right now. That's the sad part about it.
I think Dave has a solution for you.
Yeah. No, but I will say that I think I have a sadness that happens to me when it's the end of something. Someone moves away. It's the end of a show. It's hard for me to like go and say goodbye to it.
I understand. It's hard to say goodbye to. I sorry, I was gonna bust into a song. Sorry. No. I'm totally with. I've never seen House of Cards. Very funny story about the House of Cards. I did not know who Mahershala Ali was, and you know who he is, right?
Yeah, of course.
So Mahershala Ali, of course, plays the lawyer in House of Cards, and I didn't know who he was. And I remember being at a studio for a meeting and sitting in the waiting room. And this very dashing, handsome man walks in, and he comes and sits next to me. And they say his name. They're like, "Oh, you know, hi, my name is Mahershala Ali, and I'm here for a social meeting." And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, "Hey, man," I was like, "Mahershala Ali, isn't that's a Jewish and a Muslim name together? So which one is it? You know?"
You said that?
Yeah, because I didn't know who he was.
What did he say?
No clue who he is. Okay. Like an asshole. And he goes, and he laughed and he smiled at me and he goes, I'm Muslim. I converted. And I was like, oh, how interesting. I was like, what were you before? And he goes, my mom's a Baptist, she's a Baptist minister, he said. And I was like, oh wow. I was like, that must have went down real well with her, huh? Converting to Islam? Wow, that's a pretty big jump there. And then, like, literally, we sat there and talked for like 30 some odd minutes, and he told me his entire journey of how he converted to Islam. Like,
sounds like a really nice guy. I've heard good things about him.
He is amazing. He's like eating like a really delicious cold ice cream on a hot summer day. Like, that's what he is. He is.
I asked him if he was into toasted marshmallow.
Listen. I saw a ring on his finger, so I had to back it up. I had to back off. But
that's when you bring up, are you into the Kinsey thing? So
I was like, hi.
About the Kinsey thing,
I was like, now that you're Muslim, do you know that they can do multiple wives? Did you know this? I was like, can I just pitch this to you right now? I am willing to be wife number 2. I'm totally cool with it. I was like, look, I'm good at cooking. Maybe you do the dishes and I'll do the cooking, that kind of a thing. But he's just a wonderful, wonderful human, and just really a very grounded human. Just very, very lovely to speak to, and very easy on the eyes. Very. Oh God. Okay. All right. I'm on camera. But anyways, he's wonderful. Mahershala Ali's wonderful. Have you seen the show Rami?
No, you've told me about this show.
He is on Rami, and there's this whole scene. He plays an imam in a mosque where Rami is looking for himself, because Rami is Muslim. He's in Jersey. He's this young kid. He's lost. He's looking for himself, and he goes to the imam, and the imam is helping him kind of find himself. And the conversations that go down between them are just fucking hysterical. And then the writing is really great. It's very funny. It's very well done. And my God, seeing Mahershala Ali in that Muslim garb, it makes me want to put a burqa on. You don't understand. It makes me want to be so Muslim when I see Mahershala Ali sitting in a mosque. I'm like, this makes me want to like just buy a burqa. Like, it's so hot, you know? Jonathan, where'd you go? You got stuck. Hello? Jonathan has a very pensive look. Okay, I don't know what happened, but Jonathan got a little bit stuck there. Hopefully he'll come back. All right, we're gonna start wrapping up. Hopefully, I don't know what happened. Jonathan's face got stuck on there. So I'm gonna kick him from the studio and make him come back in. All right, let's read some of the comments here. Mark said, try being a Lee. Oh, really? Okay. You said, and I'm Mark. That is James, and at least Malik has Yusuf Malik. That is true. Who is Anil Kapoor? Anil Kapoor is a very famous Bollywood actor. I grew up watching him. Very talented, very very charismatic. He was in he was in Slumdog Millionaire. He plays the host of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I don't know if you guys remember watching. He's a very brilliant actor and really good at what he does, and still looks absolutely fantastic. Favorite Broadway shows, man. I would have to say there's quite a few, man. There's quite a few. Dave Lerman says you could buy a vintage Hamilton piano cheaper than 2 tickets. I agree with you. I totally agree with you. However, cannot afford either one. So there's that. I'm waiting to make that kind of money so I can make that happen. Dave Lerman says, hi, Wendy, I told you. Okay, I don't know what that is. And then James says, don't watch Game of Thrones. You will love the first 3 quarters and hate the last. Oh my God, really? James, I thought everybody was like swearing by it and said how amazing it was. Dave says, Mona, what brand eyeliner is that gorgeous yellow? You are so sweet. This is not eyeliner. You mean eyeshadow? This eyeshadow is from a very amazing, influencer / beauty guru person named Huda Beauty. It's hers. And what else do we have? Tim said, awesome show, Mona. Got to get to bed. 2 a.m. comes early. Have a good night, Tim. Thank you very much for tuning in. Mark Lee said, Morgan Freeman was cool that way. Yes, he was. Morgan Freeman is still pretty cool. Dave Lerman says, no, Aquafina is overrated. I don't know who that is. My friend in chat said, Lily Singh, no need more depth to capture Mona. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, Dave. Can you clarify? Dave said, you ruled. No, Dave, you ruled. Thank you very much for tuning in, as always. All right. Jonathan is back. Jonathan?
Sorry about that.
What happened? The Game of Thrones conversation was too much, or Marshala just melted? I think Marshala melted your Wi-Fi. That's what happened.
I think that's what happened. I think Spectrum sucks.
Exactly. Spectrum was feeling itself a little too much with around Marshala. It's too much. Jonathan, we're going to start wrapping up. So tell everybody where we can find you, and if you have any projects that we can see or find anywhere.
I'm working on a few things with my production partners, so there will be some stuff coming up. I'm always looking for new projects, so anyone out there, if you think you're a reality personality that just needs a development team to back you up, you know where to find us now. It's Jonathan Jordan LA on Instagram, and of course I'm friends with Mona, so you can find me that way.
Yes, you can.
Pardon?
I said, yes, you can.
Yes, I can. Yes, we can. And also, I just want to say one thing to everyone. Make sure that you are doing your census. Make sure you get that done because they're trying to wrap it up right now. And it's going to have a huge impact on this next 10 years. It's going to be a way that the Republicans are going to, I don't care what side you're on, but if you're not a Republican, it's a way that they're going to skew things that direction. And if you are, then you want to make sure that you're being counted as well. So make sure you get your census done. That's almost more important. I would say equally as important as voting.
Yeah. And voting. I mean, please register for voting. I mean, it's huge. I mean, honestly, Jonathan, I don't think I've ever felt such a life and death situation for voting until this voting. This 2016 was really that too, but this one is even more higher stakes than 2016, I feel. Don't you think?
Yeah, this is like suture voting. Like we're stopping the bleeding. The bleeding already came in 2016. Now we're mitigating the loss of blood that's happening to our country.
Listen, we gotta put whatever cotton we can to absorb and just start stitching it back up because the stitches the Band-Aids ain't working, man. The Band-Aids aren't working. We need the stitches.
We got the oldest, whitest piece of cotton, and we are going to hold that piece of cotton and stick it in that wound. That's what we're going to do.
Gonna stick it in that wound real hard. I think what is Dave saying? Jim said Lily. Oh, Dave said, Sheikh Mona, would you do a reality show? It depends. It depends. I've never really thought of myself as a reality show person, but it depends, I wanted to do like the those reality housewives thing, with the Long Island ones. Like, tell me the truth. Tell me that. I swear to God. I just want to put on like a New York accent. Like I swear, like with the big nails and the big puffy hair. Like you can't talk to me like this. You can't just. That would be so much fun.
And you get a great tagline, turn around and be like, I always show up late. I am the party. Those kind of taglines.
The worst.
So cheesy.
Dude, what is that reality? Is she's the Real Housewife of Atlanta. Her name is Brandy something. She had like a workout video.
Oh, you mean the tardy for the party woman?
Tardy for the party. That's it.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is a mess.
Wow.
It's a mess.
I was like, don't you have to be in shape to put out a workout video? I mean, I'm not like trying to body shame her. I'm just asking, like, I'm not in the fucking greatest shape of my life either. But I'm just like, shouldn't you like be in shape to put that out there?
I think everyone's in that position because of quarantine. I had a bone scan just to make sure my bone density was good because my doctor wanted to yesterday, and he said the technician goes, "Oh, I had to use a stronger laser than last time." I was like, "Why?" He was like, I had to use the thick laser." I was like, What's thick? And he's like, "Well, your thigh is thicker than it used to be."
Okay. Wow.
That's what the technician said to me because they have a record of what strength they use for a bone scan thing, I guess.
Wow. Is it the bone that's thicker or is it the meat?
I think it's the meat. I'd like to think it's the meat.
All that ice cream in the toothpicks, baby.
Well, we got to get another ice cream date going.
We totally do. All right, Jonathan, man, I love you. Thank you very much for joining us. This was
Thank you for having me.
Stay safe out there. I will talk to you soon. Bye. That was the awesome Jonathan Smith, who also goes by Jon Jordan sometimes. He's awesome. I love him to pieces. He's like my little baby brother. I adore him. Puff Daddy. What Dave said? Puff Daddy. What about Puff Daddy? I don't understand that. Mark Lee said, if Trump wins, I'm going to grab Jordan, Mona, and other friends, and we are moving to Canada. Shucks, might move to New Zealand. You know what, Mark? That is not a bad idea. I would actually love to move to New Zealand. I hear great. I mean, I love Jacinda, so that's that. Shiksas of Sunset, Dave. That's hilarious. I would love to do Shiksas of Sunset. Are you kidding me? I'll be all about that. A funk musician friend of mine said he's 25 pounds over due to Corona. Wow, really? I guess you don't have to be a funk musician to do that, because this girl's rocking that out too. Hey. Dave Lerman says, you are glowing. Yes, thank you very much. But it's also the amount of light and the makeup that I put on my face that is shining and reflecting and bouncing the light back. But thank you very much. All right, guys, tomorrow I have a very special guest on. Now, she is a very hilarious comic. Her name is Jackie Cashian. She runs a podcast with Lori Kilmartin. Lori Kilmartin and her have an amazing podcast. And Lori Kilmartin is the head writer for Conan. They're brilliant. They're amazing. But Lori's not going to be here. I'm going to try to get Lori on too, but down the line. But for now, Jackie Cashian is going to be there. So please don't forget to come by tomorrow, and that will mark the end of the week. I am on fire tonight. Thank you very much, Dave. You are so kind. Honestly, I just want to take a moment and really thank you guys every night for tuning in and supporting and watching this and appreciating the content that I put out and appreciating the guests that I bring out. Honestly, without you guys, I really, this would be a lot harder task for me. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for tuning in. And I love you guys very much for appreciating and giving me all the sweet compliments about glowing and, and the kind of stuff that I talk about. So I will see you guys tomorrow, 6:15 Pacific. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. I am trying to build my YouTube channel and getting my views up, so that would mean the world to me. My eyeshadow rules. Thank you, Dave. You rule, man. You rule. But here's the eyeshadow. Thank you. Very sparkly. Thank you. But I love you guys. If you haven't followed me on Instagram and Twitter, please do. It's at Mona's Comedy. You can also follow me on Facebook at Mona Shea Comedian. And one thing I do want to reiterate, I have an amazing podcast out, and tomorrow Jackie Cashin is going to be on that podcast that we're going to be doing. It's called Minority Reports. You can go on my YouTube channel and literally pull up that playlist, and you'll see a lot of celebrities that are on there. And I continue to bring on much bigger names and much bigger talent to come on and be part of the podcast. So please do check it out. I will see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time. Wear your masks. Be safe out there. I love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting me. Have a good night.